Today, for the very first time, we're going to be listening to an album that was just released by a band called As Everything Unfolds. This is Did You Ask to Be Set Free? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. My name is Patrick, and that is my friend Chris Parker. And we are here to listen to the brand new As Everything Unfolds album that was just released today. This is a band that I talked to you about, Chris, a couple of years ago. They were, I think, number 6 or 5 on my list when their album Ultraviolet came out in 2023. And they are basically the way I describe them is basically like Spirit Box and the Birthday Massacre put together.
I was wondering.
And you could also throw in some Paramore because it's the vocal style that's kind of like it could be in like a pop punky song, but it just happens to be music that is similar to like Spirit Box, poppy a little bit, and then also there's heavy Birthday Massacre influence in this.
I'm pretty sure Birthday Massacre has an album called Ultraviolet.
They have an album called Violet, and everything that they have is pink. So that really, when this album came out, I was like, this is so Birthday Massacre-y. This is so...
I was going to comment on that, like, you're looking at it, it's like purple albums are just, they stick out so much. Just this is all very purple, this Ultraviolet one from last year. Or
from 2 years ago. Or 3 years, actually. I agree 100%. I love the cover of the album. It looks like I'll put a picture up here in the video, but it looks like a Stephen King novel cover or something. Like I love their font. I love the paneled nature of it. It's really cool. I really like it. And I love the cover.
And you're talking about the new one or Ultraviolet?
Ultraviolet. Yeah, okay. Ultraviolet. I also love the cover of the new one, which, as you can see there, is like the lady with the car. We have her underneath us. I believe that is the vocalist from the band. And then the sweet, like, sort of Stranger Things style logo.
I was going to say, it's very Stranger Things. Yeah.
Yep. And I have not heard a second of this, by the way. And I want to talk about what this new album is, but in a second. But first, I thought in 2023, we hadn't yet started doing our top 12 albums of the year lists where we actually listened to each other's songs yet.
Oh, okay.
So as far as I know, you have never heard this band, unless you did go back yourself and listen to this after you knew my list.
If I did, I don't remember.
We never talked about them. So I thought a good way to start this video would be for us to just listen to one song off of Ultraviolet. So the song I have picked for us to listen to is, I really was having a tough time with this because I do like a lot of the album. And they have one song that's like a much heavier song. And my initial thought was like, oh, we should listen to that one. And then I was like, no, because that's not a good representation of the band. I think what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the song Twilight. Which also, Birthday Massacre also has a song called Twilight. They also have a song called Daylight. They also have a song called Infrared. They also have a song called Ultraviolet. So there's a lot of Birthday Massacre vibes going on here.
Crazy.
But we're going to just listen to Twilight. And then now, once you've heard them, then I want to go into the story of what this new album is and the thing that makes this album unique and this kind of sad story that surrounds this new album. So, all right, this is Twilight from their previous album. So for everyone also watching this video, if you're unfamiliar with this band, you just clicked on the video because you're curious or you've been following us. A lot of people do watch our reactions like a podcast. They just treat every one of our reactions as an episode of a podcast. And whatever we're listening to, they happen to just join us for that reaction, but they're here for the continuing journey of our musical knowledge, you know? So if you're one of those people, this will tell you whether or not you need to watch the rest of the video or not. If you absolutely hate this song, I assume the new album is going to sound similar to this. And if you have no idea what this band is or anything, this will give you a good idea of what to expect. So this is Twilight off of their 2023 album Ultraviolet in 3, 2, 1. And I do think you will like this, Chris.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's some Paramore in there.
Yes. Okay, that's what
So
I was thinking.
I do like this vocal style a lot. Oh, chunky.
Yes.
Time.
They're very British. She sings with a bit of a British accent, and I love that part of it.
It's usually rare to hear that in the singing.
Yes. I really, really like the way the vocals are treated on this album.
Yeah.
They're very raw. Like, they do not do a million things to her vocals to make them sound perfect, and I really like that aspect of it. So what are your first impressions of that?
That's great.
Yeah.
I can totally hear the Paramore in there. I can totally hear where you're getting the Spirit Box stuff. It reminded me of something else very briefly that I can't remember. So that's the end of that thought. And
well, to me, this is, if you remember last year when we did our top 12 albums of the year list, I had two bands on my list that were Not Enough Space and The Pretty Wild. And
yes,
in our video, I was talking about how female-fronted metal bands where the lady screams are becoming kind of like dime a dozen bands now. Like,
yeah,
which I do love bands like that. But there's a lot of them that are really bad. And or I shouldn't say bad. There's a lot of them that are missing that spark that make them special. And when I heard this album 3 years ago at this point, Spirit Box's first album had come out, I think, the year before. And you and I have been familiar with In This Moment, right? I've been listening to female-fronted metal screaming for forever. Straight Line Stitch, Arch Enemy, all these bands that go back forever. We know how this works. We've been listening to Birthday Massacre. We know that stuff. But Spirit Box was kind of setting the world on fire. And Poppy had already released a hard, like a metal album at that point. So like we were getting more stuff, and it was right at the cusp of it breaking into like mainstream, right? When the man realized that all these bands that had these super hot chicks, you know, singing and screaming, that they were way marketable than these bushy haired dudes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's why this music is kind of exploding, which is unfortunate, but all these bands are fantastic that we're talking about. It doesn't matter. But like, this band really stood out to me at the time because of the production of the album, and I just like the simplicity of their songs, and the heavy parts weren't trying to like destroy you or anything. They were just there because they suited what was happening, and I really liked the treatment they did to her vocals across the entire album. It felt so raw, and it felt not underproduced because it does sound so good, but it felt like they weren't doing any tricks, and it's felt very refreshing to me. And so I've been following this band since then, and I have been waiting for them to release their next album because I felt like back then when they released that album that they were on the cusp of like breaking it big. And as of right now, yet they haven't really broke it big yet, as far as I can tell. If you go to their just their general page, they only have 144,000 monthly listeners, which compared to a lot of stuff isn't that much, but to a lot of bands it's a lot. I mean, I would love to have that many followers on anything. So like, yeah, but like they just released a new album. I'm really hoping this album is good and that people really start talking about it. So the important thing to know about this album is that when they first sat down to start writing this album, they were in the very, very early planning stages where they were kind of like, okay, how many songs do we want to do? Let's come up with some titles for songs. Let's start mapping stuff out on the guitars and just start jamming some stuff. One of the members of the band passed away. And I think it was one of the guitar players. I could be wrong about that. They don't really talk very much about it in detail in the articles that I've read, and I had never once heard a reason. So I don't know why. It could be a bad reason. I mean, anytime someone dies, it's a bad reason, but like,
of course,
it could be any number of reasons, and they don't ever say in any of the articles that I've read about this band. So I think they're trying to keep it private. So now the other thing to mention there, when this is, I mean, it's super unfortunate, but he was the partner of the woman, the vocalist. So like they were together, and they were devastated, as you can imagine.
Of course.
And they decided, and the thing is, they left their smaller record label after they released Ultraviolet, and they signed with a new record label. And I remember them seeing their posts on Facebook, like, we're so excited. We've been signed to a new record label. We've got good stuff coming. And then the tragedy.
Did you say it was the guitarist?
I'm not sure which member of the band
it was. According to this, it says the drummer.
Okay, the drummer. Okay, so okay, yeah, I hadn't looked that specific piece up, but sure. So that's good to know. But drummers a dime a dozen; they can replace them anytime. But I thought it was someone important, like the guitar player.
Yes, of course.
But they had got a new record label, new push. They had the rocket strapped to their backs, and so they decided to push forward and to make the album. And so they had like several song ideas and everything, but then the whole thing took a turn, and they decided that they were going to talk about how they were feeling on this album. So from what I have gathered, this is a very dark, very sad album. I'm sure there's going to be points of hope and stuff as well, but like apparently the lady, her name is, hold on, I have it right here. Charlie is her name. She, here, I'll just read some of this article for you. I saved two things about this. So it says, let me just read this, and then I might cut it up in the video later. When Charlie thinks back on much of the making of Did You Ask to Be Set Free, there are a lot of completely understandable black spots. Anybody who has experienced any variety of grief knows just how much passes you by whilst you're processing and what you have experienced. And it's made even more difficult when the world around you continues turning, which we've all been there. Something terrible happens and you just feel really isolated. And then you look outside your window and you're like, how can everybody still be living a normal life when this is going on?
Absolutely.
We've all been there. And it says, when she thinks back to the early stages of them piecing together what they thought was going to be this album, before he had passed away, there wasn't very much pressure being applied to the band. It's okay that your art changes directions because of what happens in your life, she said. I always feel like it should be a true representation of where you are at. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was the easiest thing to do. You have to accept what is going to happen, that change is going to happen. It says the most apparent shift in the sentiment can be heard in the lyrics that are found throughout the record's closing two songs, which are specifically about the guy, I believe. It says bold, brave admissions of vulnerability and overwhelming emotion. The songs feel like necessary curtain call for the album that up until that point sits in much more of a liminal space. I was spending a lot of time in this daydream space and I couldn't escape it. Time would pass and I wouldn't even notice. That's why this album has ended up actually being such a weird representation of what the true journey was. Our path got taken from us under our feet and we had to try to find another path because you can never go down that original path again. I read this whole article and I just saved that one page.
Yeah.
And a lot of the rest of the article was talking about how difficult it was to decide to continue going. Like they didn't seem like they were going to stop being a band, but they were like, what do we do? You know? And they decided that they talked to the family of the guy who died. They talked to their managers, their friends, everybody. And everyone was like, no, you guys have to keep going. And you have to do this. Like, you guys are on the precipice of this big thing. You need to do it. And so that was one of the reasons they decided to keep going, to honor his memory. And then also to just you sometimes the easiest thing to do when you have troubles like that is literally to just keep going no matter what. And so they talked about that a little bit as well. And then one other thing I want to point out, this is something that they posted today. So this is something they posted on Facebook just today. It said
today? Wow.
Just today. Yeah, this is the day the album came out. So as of right now, today it is April 10th. Did You Ask to Be Set Free is out now. And then they posted this. People often reference and say that their album has been a journey process for them with the experience surrounding the context of the songs, and we can confidently say that this has never been more true for us. We hope you realize that even in your hardest times, you can create something to be proud of, something you can look back on in your progress and see how far you've come. Moving forward, but never forgetting, in loving memory of Jamie Gowers, Set Yourselves Free. That's what they posted today, and they posted some pictures. This is a picture, or actually I can't click on it because I'm going to have a screenshot, but they posted some pictures and some videos and stuff like that. And so that's the story of this album. So we can keep that in mind as we go through this. You can see from the plays which songs they have released before the album came out. And they were on tour, I believe, before with their last album with a band called Bury Tomorrow, which is a pretty famous, pretty hardcore band, pretty famous band. And track 8 has the vocalist from Bury Tomorrow on it.
Nice.
Because they got to be friends while they were touring. And then they were working on a specific song, and she was like, man, I feel like we could have some guest vocals. And so she texted him, and he was like, yeah, sure. And came over and did the vocals right away or whatever.
Nice.
So she was talking about that being a really cool part of the process. And I think that seems like that's the song with the most plays, which makes sense because that's a much bigger band than this band. So,
cool.
In today's, it kind of bothers me when this is maybe a conversation for another time, Chris, but like, it bothers me when bands release songs that feature other people as the like lead singles for their album, because it's like, this is not an accurate representation of what the album is.
Yeah.
And it happens so much nowadays where people just do all these collaborations, which makes sense because it's easier nowadays than ever before to do collaborations. You can just send someone a track, they record their thing, send it back to you back and forth a couple times, and it's done. But like, I really don't like the idea of these collaborations being the like forefront of your musical thing, because it is definitely not a representation of, in a lot of cases it's a metal band that features like another guest vocalist, and it's like, that's not what your band sounds like. You know what I mean?
But it is definitely, I would imagine 9 times out of 10 it's the lesser band backing, getting the boost from the bigger band.
And that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. That makes 1,000% sense. And we are all familiar with wake me up inside. I can't wake up. that dude from 12 Stones, no one would have heard of them ever.
I had no idea that he was from a different band.
Yes, that's the singer from the band 12 Stones. Now,
That's
at the
really
time, they were a more established band than Evanescence, because that was obviously Evanescence's debut album. But
Yeah.
boy, did they get a boost after that. So, like, obviously, I'm saying it can work. I just feel like it's kind of a weird thing. So, all right, without further ado, everybody, let's get into Did You Ask to Be Set Free? We'll keep that story of the album in mind. Trust me, it won't prevent me from talking trash about this album if there's trash to be talked. But
Somebody's got to do it.
But we'll see. I will say, Chris, just since this is a new record label and all the, I don't know who produced this or anything. We can check this stuff on Spotify, I believe. But like, I'm really hoping that this album is as good or better quality production than their previous album, and sometimes it happens.
I mean, that sounded pretty good last time. That
It did.
Song you
It
played.
really did. So
If I had to ask for anything to be different, I think the vocals were almost too low, but not quite, because she was high enough to cut through a lot of what was going on.
Yep.
But yeah, it sounded pretty good. So
I'm excited to see. One last thing, real quick. I'm sorry, everybody. In one of the interviews I was reading with them, she was talking about people's expectations for songs and how they were kind of having trouble with that. And generally, when a band like this is talking about that, what they mean is people want every song to have like just gross breakdowns where they destroy and murder people. And a band like this, like the Birthday Massacre, for example, who has like 4 songs throughout their entire like 10 album catalog that have like harsher vocals on it. Like, so one thing before we listen to this, I'm really would not be surprised at all if there's way less harsh vocals on this album than their previous album. Or there could be even more because they gave into that pressure. But she was talking about the pressure of making the music heavier because that's one of the aspects people liked about them. And that was just an example she gave. But like people's expectations for what every song should be and them trying to not give into those expectations. So
nice.
We'll see. All right, track 1, Denial, in 3, 2, 1.
Off to a good start.
Yeah.
I love that. Little synthwave.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yep.
A little bit of pitch layering there.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh. I'm gonna turn it up. Whoa.
That kick sounds great.
Yes. I love the synths. That's not. I was not expecting that. I will say that her harsh vocal was very different than it was on the previous album.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how I feel about that yet.
This is very Birthday Massacre.
Yes. Ooh. Yeah. a fourth chorus? Wow, that's something you don't hear every day. We'll pause.
That would be. That would be more. That would be less interesting without those synths in there. That's great.
I agree. I think first impression production might not quite be up to the standard of their previous album. However, I feel like there were more things happening there. So, and it didn't sound bad. I'm not saying that. Her harsh vocals threw me off because that was like another level of harshness that I never heard on the previous one at all.
Okay.
So that was, I'm surprised. I kind of missed the way they were before, but I need to hear more of it. And they're doing the same thing that they did last time. They're not layering billions of vocals. Mm-hmm. When she was doing her harsh vocal there, one track doing her harsh vocal, and that's all it was. And I applaud them for that because it is so tempting to layer harsh vocals to make it sound massive. And if she can do that, she doesn't need to do that. Now, it was much lower pitched and grunty, screamy than the previous stuff she was doing. Or maybe it was the way it was treated or something. But like, I liked it. It was much heavier during that part, but I don't know. I think I loved the synth parts, the like synth wavy stuff almost a little bit in there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of synthwave for sure.
I did not hear any of that on the previous album. There were synths and things, but there weren't anything like that really. It was in the drums this time felt more realistic drums. Before they felt very much like just stereotypical programmed drums kind of. Yeah. And this felt more realistic drums. But still, I'm sure it's made the same way and everything, but the samples they chose to incorporate feel a little bit more raw. So I liked that aspect of it as well. So, yeah.
I will say, one thing I thought of, and this goes a little bit more into the story that you told beforehand and the relationship of the songs. Some of the lyrics in that song, as best as I could tell, were, let's see, I think, often I find when somebody dies and there is a lot of privacy around how, I would say more times than not, they killed themselves.
Yes, that's what I was thinking as well, but I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that tends to be the trend that I've seen over the years of my life. And
otherwise, why would you hide it? You know,
right? And not
that it's even hiding it, but it's just like privacy.
For sure.
Thing.
Yeah. Obviously, privacy and secrecy are different things, and that's totally fine.
1000%.
But the lyrics in that song, I think, helped allude to a certain, like, it made me think that if by the end of this album, will we have a pretty good idea of what happened, if that is what happened?
Yeah, I'm
based
curious.
On the lyrics. And I wonder.
I'm curious. And it all depends on where they're coming at things from, you know, because I would imagine, well, we'll have to see as we go through and listen to it. Actually, you know what? Let's not even conjecture. Let's just listen to it and see what we think.
Because I think you said that in the article, like the last half of the album was written after.
Well, they had like 2/3 of the album written, I believe, before he passed, and then they changed some of the stuff, and then specifically the two final songs are specifically the dealing with stuff, at least to end the album. Like it's putting a pin in everything, I guess, or not a pin, but it's like the closure. The two final songs are the closure, but I do believe it referenced that they changed their direction that they were going. So whether that's musical or, I mean, obviously they have a new person in the band to have input from. And so like, whatever that means, whether it's lyrical, thematic, like whatever, it did change what they were doing. So,
Yeah.
and I assume some of the songs that the guy had his input in the songs already, they probably would try to leave as much of that as possible for him.
I imagine so, for sure.
So I would imagine we'll get some songs that maybe feel a little disjointed or not related to anything at all. Not that we even know that song was at all, but you know, it's going to be a dark album, I would assume.
Yep.
And that's what I would assume from this anyway. But Gasoline, this next song, is one of the ones that she referenced in the interview as like being an important song to her. So,
okay, good.
So,
Cool.
so this next one is a big one for them. So, all right, this is track 2, Gasoline, in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah,
Huge.
I'm gonna keep track
Love
of
that.
I'm gonna keep track of how many songs have harsh vocals in them. This sounds great.
Yeah, it does. Dancy.
Yes. There was nothing like this on the previous album.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, I love this. It does sound like real drums, and I wonder if they did that as a tribute to the drummer, you know?
Oh.
I mean, I don't think he played on this, but their previous album was obviously like fake drums.
Oh, I see.
So like this sounds way more like realistic drum sounds.
Okay. This is great. Love this.
Yes. I like her voice a lot.
Yeah.
Interesting to have so many layer vocals that overlap there during the chorus. That'd be tough to perform live. Oh, that was really funny there. They just sliced off the cymbal hits to make them like rather than doing like Lars grabs, they just literally sliced off, cut off the thing. That's an interesting choice. Okay.
Makes me wonder if that was, like you mentioned, that the drums on the previous album being like really fake or whatever.
Yeah.
In a way that is not negative.
No.
It makes me wonder if that's, you know, the drummer writes, the drummer plays, but they also have sampling, and that they make the songs with the samples. And then the fact that they had samples was like, we're going to cut these. We don't have any recordings of the muting, you know?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, totally. But it doesn't matter. You could find ways you could add fake reverb to the end of it. You could do stuff to that. That they were doing it to intentionally make it feel like choppy, stutter edity.
Yeah, yeah.
But it just is kind of jarring at that moment. But it didn't bother me.
I was surprised at how, like, like it was, usually you get like, and then you go back into the full version of everything. They kept the choppy stuff for quite a while there.
Yeah.
Like the full first half of the chorus, for sure.
Yeah. And now I will say also, I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics that much in that song, but the bridge, when she clearly said, saying goodbye is the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Oh boy.
And she said, saying goodbye is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I'm like, whoa. And then they went right into the happy, you set fire to the gas. I was like, that's a little juxtaposed.
Yeah.
Not sure if that should have been there or not, but I mean, yeah.
It seems really interesting to like take something super heartfelt and then like I'm gonna go make a bunch of pig sounds through this. Like it just,
but see, to me that means like it literally probably was the hardest thing she's ever had to do. So like there was meaning behind that. So like I threw out my voice doing that, but like it's funny. Like it's not funny, but it is funny.
Right.
But like I don't personally feel like that belonged there. But hey, throw in as many harsh vocals as you want for stylistically. I love that stuff. So like, I'm not going to complain about that. But I mentioned to you during the song there that I'm going to put a tally for every song that has harsh vocals. Maybe I won't need to do that because like most of them will. But I was expecting this album to not have as much harsh vocals, but maybe it'll have way more. So I don't know. And that could be an anger component too, like trying to convey the frustration and the anger of everything. So
far, it seems like this is going to be like a good gateway album for people who don't like harsh vocals.
Yeah.
Because that had like 4 words of harsh vocals in it.
Literally, that's all. So yeah, 100%. Okay, now we're moving on to track 3, Point of View. This one has twice as many plays as the 2 songs we've heard before so far. So this probably was an older single that they released, and it's a little bit longer. It's at least 30 seconds longer than anything we heard. It's 4:07. So we'll see if there's a bit more patience to this song. So far, the first 2 songs didn't really have any moments where you could breathe within the song themselves. So it was just, once it started, it just kind of continued the entire time. I like when songs have patience to them within the song. But this band also, like, they have a song on their previous album that's like 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and it's a full ass song. So they do short songs. So, and that's totally fine. But yeah. So this is Point of View, track 3, in 3, 2, 1. Love that riff. This one could be a heavy one.
Huge.
Yes.
Enormous.
Yes. I could see Poppy doing this song. This song has more Poppy in it, I think.
I get it. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of that from the riff, I think.
Yeah. Well, to me, more was the vocals there and the soaringness, kind of.
Okay. The bass is really doing work in this song.
Yeah, it's nice. I feel like the snare really gets drowned out when the guitars and stuff come in. Extra layer of guitars and stuff there during the chorus. In the middle.
Love those little da, 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even bigger. It just keeps getting larger.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Love this.
Huge drop on the way back in.
Is it gonna brrr? I love that cymbal thing. Oh, they
Nice.
tricked us.
Love it.
I'll make a note.
Huge, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's over.
Yep. Nice.
I think this is my favorite song so far on the album. Do you think? What do you think?
I was thinking that song was a little bit boring.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I think that was the best guitar riff. But it had less interesting synths for sure. Because that was my thing I was debating when I was saying that sentence. I was like, oh man, that first song really had. And then the second song was the poof, bah, poof, bah, poof, bah. So I was like,
Yeah.
dang it, all three of them have been good.
Yeah, they've all been good. I think of the three, that one I think just did the most same thing over and over because it was like the riff,
Okay.
would, cut way out, and then the big but same riff, and then
Yeah.
it just like I'm super impressed by how that song just kept getting larger. Like the chorus, the verses was big, the chorus is even bigger, blah blah, and then the bridge is even bigger. It's
Yeah.
like, how do you fit more sound into this space? It really is quite a feat.
Because at certain points I was getting a little scared of like, are we going to be overcompressed here? Is this overcompressed? And then no, they kept adding things, and I think they're using the high frequencies really nicely to crash at the beginning of things, and then they slowly fade away. And then when at the beginnings of the sections of the songs is when it's like there's a little spike of interest. And then that's how it feels like things are getting bigger when really you're not perceiving that it gets big and then settles down, then gets big again. You're just perceiving it staying, even though I think it is settling down a little bit. But have you noticed that, have you thought since the first song that any of the vocals have been too low?
No.
Okay, me either. I think that her vocals are like the perfect volume, sometimes maybe even just a smidge on the upper part of the acceptable vocal pocket, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just like perfectly in the middle or a little bit below. They're sitting in the upper quadrant of the pocket, acceptable
Yeah,
pocket.
I mean,
So-
based on the way that they produce her vocals and the volume at which they tend to sit, she's not shy
No,
about singing.
no, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, I will say this album feels a little bit more straightforward. Like there's a little less maybe quirkiness to it, which I understandably is gone from this.
Sure.
But that second song was very fun sounding, so we'll just have to see. But all three songs have been completely different so far. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really enjoy that. By the way, speaking of, did you hear and see that last night at midnight, Evanescence announced a brand new album in June?
I did not.
Oh, hoo boy! Let me tell you. We should do a reaction to the single after we're done with this, just to like a quick 5-minute thing.
Okay.
But at least to see the production, because I think it might be Poppy's people working on it.
Oh boy.
All right. Track 4. Find Another Way. In 3, 2, 1. I like it. Okay. We haven't gotten
Filthy.
a crushingly heavy song yet, and I'm assuming somewhere on the album that will be there. I don't know which one it would be, but... Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
now we're talking.
yes. Patience.
Ooh, yes.
Let's go. You just know it's going to be ruined when the guitars come in.
No way. They'll end this. Oh yeah. This little guitar. Bing, bang.
Yes, very nice. Very
Awesome.
tasty. I was going to mention last time, the only thing that would make this band better is guitar solos for every now and then, but that's all right. I keep expecting it.
She's not gonna give it to you.
Oh, she will.
Maybe the last verse, last chorus.
There we go. Okay, it got bigger. It felt bigger. It didn't feel like it smushed. Good job. Good job, mastering engineer. This would be a perfect time for a guitar solo. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
And I love the choppiness of the guitar. I love the pulsing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They did it again. Full size.
Yep. Her vocals are getting a little drowned out here, but it's okay. Nice.
Lovely.
Yes, very much so. That one might actually be my favorite song.
That's a good one.
That's really great. I love the patience with not bringing it in too early. Don't worry about it. Let the electronics shine. Let the drums do their thing. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, in that one, she said, one of the lyrics that I caught was, people keep asking you to move on, but I'll find another way.
Yeah.
That was like the main chorus. So it's a kind of interesting thought there, you know. It can be very frustrating when people are just like, just get over it, you know. But then the idea of finding another way, like accepting it and not just getting over it. Interesting thought. I love that. Like you said, it got bigger again at the end, and they, I do wish that we could have a little bit of a solo in there every now and then, but that's okay. That's not what this band does, and that's fine. They don't have to.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't mind no solos. I really enjoyed the space in that for sure.
Yeah.
Like you said, the patience and just.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that one Inner Party System song where it's just like this very slow build, and then you get the bomb that drops at the end. Like, I had a thought about that where it's like, you can tell this is working towards something, but they're going to make you wait till you get there before you're there.
Yep. 1,000%. And it worked great. Okay, on to track 5, Cut the Lies. This is 2:43. So if we're going to get a super heavy one, this is one of the two shortest songs on the album. So maybe this could be the super, super heavy one. And coming from that song, it would make sense. And it would be our fifth type of song that we've had of the first 5 songs. So I'm going to put my money down on Cut the Lies as the harsh one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Cut the Lies in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that doesn't sound like a crushing heavy riff. That sounds kind of happy. Well, like that synth on top of it.
Oh, yeah. Very Paramore. Bum, bum, bum. Cool.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Yo, let's go.
Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah.
Don't need to take a knife to my back. Expire before you need to track. Me down hunted like an animal. My ascension is your
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Number 1.
And shout out to the Whisper track.
Ooh.
Where's the chorus? Was that the chorus?
Why are they doing this in such a short song?
I know.
What a song.
There, that's the higher pitched scream. Whoa.
Love that stop. Every other song on this album has been trash.
I know, right? This is so good. And this is one of the ones
Man,
with
oh,
no
man.
plays. They were cooking on the laptop
They be
with this.
cooking.
That's a lot of editing to all the instruments, and I love it. You jerks. You jerks
What
for
a
making
song.
that the shortest song. You jerks.
I know. What absolutely top
They
shelf.
could have been twice as long, that song.
They put 5 different types of song in there. I don't know why you thought that.
I know. We could have had 5 songs. Cut that out into each 5 songs. Make it. Come
It
on.
kept changing. Man,
Oh,
that was great.
Oh,
Let's get more of those.
yes. Let's do that. Okay. So one thing I wanted to point out, there was a lot of making the song in the DAW for that one, right? Chopping the stuff up, making the guitar part intentionally the way that it was. That like core riff at the beginning never came back again. You know what I mean? That dump,
I know.
like,
And it was so
yeah,
cool.
what the heck? I was like so different than anything else.
Well, hopefully that sets the stage for the rest of the album.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got the crap over with. Now we're just to the good part. Holy cow! That was one of the songs with no listens. They didn't even choose to release that one early. Weird, man. All right, well, let's move on and see
Because
what
I
we
was
got.
thinking, like,
Right.
if every other song, if the whole album was songs like that, top 3.
I agree.
Easy.
Now the thing is, maybe that song was a little bit more special because it was a little different. So we'll have to just see. But like,
Yeah.
I
We
hope
will.
I hope we get more stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Okay, this is "Break It Away." Again, hold on. That was a cult. Every one of the first 5 songs have been basically completely different. So, snaps to you guys for being able to do that.
Yeah, keeping that going.
All right, track 6, "Break It Away" in 3, 2, 1.
different.
Purity Ring. I hear Purity Ring everywhere now.
That's good. They have a new song out, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Asking myself every day, are we floating through worlds with
Purity Ring.
to say?
That drum beat.
Nonsense.
Purity Ring.
Yeah, all right.
To endless dreams of further beyond. Can't let it go this time.
Nice.
Listen to that snare.
Yep.
Couldn't ask for the bitter truth. Can't let it slip this time. I'm living through my life. Paralyzed between two worlds. Ever humbled by the process. Can't escape to regress. Counting down the days. Ever changing in the process. Feeling so faithless.
Guitars are really low pass here.
This is, yeah.
Yeah, this
the bass
sounds
is-
really washy. They shouldn't have put this song after the previous one
No way, yeah.
because it feels way lower quality. Now this sounds good, but man, did it get smushed. Ooh. There was like a Linkin Park thing in the background there.
Oh. The bass is so big on this.
Well, it's because there's no... You're hearing the guitars, but there's no high definition in any of the guitar, at all.
That's true. But like they've got these drops,
Yeah.
and then when it stops, you lose. You can feel how much bass is missing, and that changes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's probably not a real bass. It's probably just
No.
a synth bass line. Or, you know, just doing the root, which is what I say the bass needs to do anyway. So, do it every song, you wieners! Come on! Son of a gun! There, I knew there was a guitar player in there somewhere. Come on, do that more.
I'm gonna go back and listen to the previous song again.
There's Birthday Massacre in this.
Oh, you heard the little Linkin Park thing there.
Yeah. Every now and then, it seems like there's like a weird hit that just comes out of nowhere that's louder than everything else. It's happened twice in this song. Let's just keep going. Let's get this.
Okay.
Let's get the taste of this one out of our mouth. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard, but it was the worst thing on this album. Set in Flow,
So
track
far.
7.
Yeah, this one's their first single.
Okay.
All right.
We've got high frequencies again. I don't know where they decided to hide, but
This is another short one, 252.
let's go. That synth in there. I love that yell she does. I want her to do that more. Yes.
I love a good yell. Different from
Yeah.
a scream. Love
yes.
a yell.
Yes. Oh.
I love that synth comes on with the snare. That's so good. The snare's so punctual in this. It keeps being the thing that changes stuff that's happening.
Yeah. Those are loud guitars.
Ooh. Love they kept that going.
Okay, Spirit Box.
This is great. Oh, they're doing it again.
They are doing it again. No chorus, no discernible chorus again.
Nonsense. The chorus was da, 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 da.
I hope they do it again.
Another short one.
Let's go. I love that.
See, this is the chorus.
I'm a sucker for that, man. Distorted vocals now. Let's bring in everything, every trick. Throw the kitchen sink at it. Yes, those cymbals.
Yes.
I was gonna say that the crash cymbals are really getting smashed down, but that's okay. But man,
I'm telling you.
quit
another
doing
short
that! Quit doing it! Well, they redeemed themselves from the previous track, so.
What I think it would be if it was that song after 5 with 6 somewhere in the trash.
Thank goodness they put something in there. right. Thank goodness they put something in between there, or we'd have exploded a little bit. But that. Yeah, I now see why they didn't release "Cut the Lies" as a single, because it was pretty similar to that one. But that was only half a song. That was only half a song. There should have been a bridge, and then there should have been a return to the part. Come on.
And what a killer bridge it would have been too.
They need who Rick Rubin or someone, whoever the producer was, to be like, I think you guys should add the extra chorus. Whoever did that, or George Martin or whatever did it.
Yeah, George R. Martin. That's why he hasn't finished that last book.
Well, no, I meant George Martin, the Beatles producer, but yeah, George Railroad Martin. Yeah,
that's really funny.
J.R.R. Tolkien told him to do it.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of that, sorry, just a tangent real quick. The Kind of Funny guys, I've been watching them for over a decade now. This is their 10th year this year, or last year. But 2 of the people on the team had never seen The Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
And so they did a like a movie recap. They don't really do reactions. They do kind of like movie recaps where they all sit down and watch it the day before. And then they go together in the studio and they talk about it. One of the other guys on the team, Lord of the Rings, is like his favorite thing in the world. And so the whole video, he was just sitting there with such joy because the other 2 people who were like Lord of the Rings haters are like, this movie's awesome. This is incredible. I can't wait to watch the second one. And I'm like,
what a feeling. I love that.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And I hope people get that feeling from us doing some of the albums we've done.
I hope so.
Definitely not the Trivium reactions we've been doing. It's really interesting, Chris, but I've been really trying to like absorb feedback from people. And
you don't want to do that.
No, I'm like good feedback.
No, I know. I know what you mean.
But a couple people the other day were talking in our Discord, and we were discussing like the idea of how frustrating it is for some people when I sit here and say, why don't they put a guitar solo in their song? For like what we're talking about here. And they're like, why do you do that? Why do you say what you want the music to be? Because it's not that. Like, who are you to think that you can? And to me, I don't think of it that way. I think of it as like, man, I think this would be made better if it had this other element to it. But like, I understand the idea of it. Like, why would you even go there? I'm not going to tell Metallica to add keyboards to their music 40 years after they released their first album. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, this is actually sort of in line with something that I've thought about a lot, which I'll prove here by not articulating it very well. Predictability in music. So how often I find, and not always, because then it sort of, I don't know, it's kind of a, sometimes not kind
not
of
a
thing,
universal truth, but yeah.
Right. But like the song Jenny by Nothing More. Okay. I've often said that song is near perfect. And for whatever reason, like the thing that is so delicious about it is that every single place you think it's going to go, or like you think I want it to go, and then it does that thing, and you're almost like getting ahead of it, and then it's doing what you want. And some people, obviously, that's a really specific way to listen to music. But that's one of the things that I find, having listened to so much music over my life and thinking of it and analyzing it the way that we are, is like, you hear a thing and it's like, I've heard this before. It's going to do this next.
Yes.
And sometimes that's not great. And sometimes
it's what you want.
Sometimes it depends on if you're thinking of it from the perspective of, it's going to do this and I hope it doesn't, or I really want it to do this.
Right. Yep.
Like that song, track 6 or whatever it was,
Track 8.
Track 5, cut the lies.
Oh, yeah.
It would do something, and I thought next is coming this, and then it hard swerve into a totally different thing that was awesome. And it was like, that made it even better, because what I thought I wanted, it's like, there's what I think I want, and then they do something so different. It's like, never mind what I want. This is way more interesting.
Right.
Which is also an element of prediction that can be a lot of fun.
Right. But then sometimes they do something and you're like, wow, that didn't feel right. You know? Mm-hmm. And what you're talking about is very similar to the thing I talk about all the time when I talk about feeling the comfort of ending a song coming back to something that they've done before. It's one of my problems with progressive music. Like, I want the song to take me on a journey, but at the end of the song, I want to go back home. I want to go someplace we've already been. I want it to feel familiar, and I want it to climax and crescendo in this thing that is the biggest part of the song, the best part of the song, but it's something that feels familiar because we've been there before. And it's really hard for some people to relate to that. And I understand that's just like a me thing, but like, it's interesting. So anyway, I've been trying to analyze a little bit more about what I'm specifically saying and how I'm talking about the things that I talk about. Yeah. And it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, because you could say the same thing about anyone that's critiquing my critique of a thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Who are you to say that I shouldn't say this thing, because I shouldn't say that thing because it's not the thing they're doing, but the thing I'm doing is the thing I'm doing. And who are you to say that I shouldn't do the thing I'm doing by saying they should do the thing that I want them to do? Boy, that was a sentence and a half. That's right. But you know what I mean. It's interesting.
And I think about this a lot when it comes to expectations, because I had a revelation the other day. I think about the idea of imposter syndrome a lot. Mm-hmm. And because it comes up a lot, especially in game dev, where people tend to have that sensation where they get into game dev and there's this sort of element of like, you have an expectation of what it's going to be like when you're in it, and it doesn't meet that, and you think, I don't belong here because I haven't met XYZ criteria that I didn't realize I set for myself as part of what it takes to be able to do this thing. Mm-hmm. And there is this element of life where people set an expectation for a thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't meet that. And it's that thing's fault and not theirs for setting an expectation.
Yes.
Because all you've done is create effectively an entire alternate reality where this thing is something different than what it turns out to be. And the only person you can really be mad at for that is you.
1,000%, yes.
Because they weren't there to hear you say that it needed to be a certain way.
Right. And it's tough too, because I do that a lot with things. Like I set up these parameters, and it has to fall within the parameters. And for me, I have like an acceptable, I talk about it all the time with music, the acceptable pocket volume for things, right? But like, if something doesn't fit within my parameters, then it is disappointing to me, and it can be so devastating. But you have to do that to an extent, I feel, in order to be excited for something, right? Like, you can't just take everything the way that it is and just accept it. You have to have some standards. And
I think expectations can be thought of in different ways. Like, like I expect,
a band's album to sound better than their previous one.
That's one type of expectation.
Okay. Sorry.
Another one is one that's built in, like, when it, like, cause and effect. Like, if I throw this, I expect it to go over there. Mm-hmm. And like, that doesn't have anything to do with disappointment.
Right.
That has something just to do with predictability. And
Yeah.
something being like an album, like you said, being better than the previous one production-wise, like that's an expectation that has the potential for disappointment.
Yes.
And I think that it's really, like, you're right about expectations being a huge part of what makes something exciting, because there's like this expectation versus anticipation thing where it's like, what could it be? I wonder if it's in any of these things. Well, I bet it's going to be this. And now you've changed. It's a shift now from
Yes.
anticipation to expectation. And then it's not that. And you got to remember, that's right. They didn't ask me.
Right.
And I complain all the time that nobody asked me about a thing.
Right. They should have just called and asked me. And it's the same thing too we do, but that's why it's so special when something comes out of nowhere and blows you away. You
Yeah.
had no expectations, and so you couldn't be disappointed. It was
That's
just
my
what
mom.
it was.
My mom used to say that to me all the time when I was a kid. Those with no expectations are not disappointed or whatever.
Yeah, 1,00000%.
And
But
it's funny, like, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, that's all right. We've talked about this long enough. It's just fun to me. We have talked about it forever. The idea of why, right? That's like the core thing. That's the core principle of how you and I even became friends in the first place, of like, why do you like this? And it's like, well, gosh, no one's ever asked me that before and expected a real answer.
I
And
still
it's
don't know how to answer that for the first thing you ever asked me.
right. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you have to think about this stuff, but at the same time, I feel like people who don't think about this stuff at all are just like missing out on such a fun part about it. It's like,
Yeah. I think it was Bertrand Russell who said the unexamined life is not worth living.
well, there you go.
And yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So whatever. But anyway, this is a great album. So
It
All
is, yes.
All right, now we're moving on to the song featuring the guest vocalist and the person from Bury Tomorrow. So this will probably be a heavier song, I would assume, because although I think that guy does sing in Bury Tomorrow as well. So we'll just have to see. But this is the biggest song with the most plays. So, all right, this is What You Wanted featuring Danny Winterbates in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah.
That was a Socrates quote.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
They have like a crispy, crunchy frequency on top of it during the heavy parts sometimes. I think it's a synth.
There's a cymbal off in the far right that's doing its very best to survive.
Yeah. Piano!
Hey now.
Very present piano.
Very.
It is in the
Love it.
foreground.
It is, in a weird way.
Yes.
Because it's not front and center, but it's like back left.
Yeah, it's weird. Dry as a popcorn fart.
This, I believe, is yet another type of music.
Yeah. I want them to both scream together.
They will. I decide that they will.
Well, okay. That's expectation. Now I can't delete that whole part because I referenced it.
That's right.
I like that conversation anyway.
The backtrack of this is interesting.
It's so raw the way the vocals are processed.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here it comes.
Yep. Brace thyself.
I just saw the glasses.
What you wanted, oh, we barely started. Tearing out my inside, telling me it's alright. Oh, can you face what you wanted?
Ooh. Final chorus layering some harsh vocals underneath it. Love it. Trivium could take some notes.
Yeah.
Layer some of them different styles of vocals, Matt. Yeah. We got a blech, kind of a blech. Oh, they ended it with a blech. Okay, that was great. That was like top tier
Fine
song.
song.
That was
Yep.
amazing. That was, you know, if that dude should quit his band and join this band and just be background vocalist for her, it was amazing.
I'd be fine with you.
The yeah, it would be yeah. The fun thing about that was she said in the chorus, "Can you face what you wanted?" Meaning her expectations. So she knew what we were talking about. But
That's
then
why she heard it.
But then the next line was, we barely just got started or whatever it was. We just barely started.
Yeah.
And so it's like that was kind of a devastating line to me. I was like, oh, can you face what you wanted now that you know that you can't have it anymore, or maybe you can't have it anymore? And oh, we were just getting started. You know what I mean? I'm sure they had a lot of like, well, we're done as a band now thoughts right away at first, you know, like, well, we can't, you know. And it's like, man, we were just getting ready to do a new album. We were going to become the biggest band on the planet. We were going to make millions of dollars. We were going to make the greatest album of all time. And now it's over. And it's like, oh, that's a lot of anxiety in there.
Yeah. I mean, to work backwards towards the suicide angle of that is like,
Yeah.
it's almost got some Kurt Cobain vibes in it, or it's like, and he never wanted to be like hugely famous, so
Right.
it doesn't quite fit, but just the idea of like, can you face what you wanted? You're getting bigger. This band is succeeding. This is what you wanted.
Interesting.
Can you face it? Maybe this is causing, problems internally.
Oh,
about
interesting.
All the
Yeah.
things related to,
Yeah.
fame and stuff. And
Yeah.
then we're just getting started and it's already over.
Oh man, I didn't even think of it from that perspective. Yeah, that's awesome. I was just thinking of the aftermath of it and like what the band was feeling afterwards. Oh, that's great. Great perspective. Different perspective there. That's really great. I do want to I've been thinking about it a lot. I want you and me and Cody, and Chris can do it if he wants to too, but he's just generally a party pooper.
He doesn't want to do anything.
I want to do a video where we each bring in like maybe 2 or 3 of our favorite like lyrics and have a whole video just based around lyrics.
I love it.
And I
would
think
love
we
to do
could
that.
actually do a series of that because it'd be tough to fit all that in there because I think there'd be a lot of conversation
I
around
could
it.
I could do 5s of songs, I
Oh,
think.
for sure. And I don't mean just like, what is your favorite lyrics? Like, obviously, we all know the greatest lyrics of all time is the Rasmus in their song off of their album Hell of a Tester, where he sings, "She drank the blood of a dinosaur to get her powers back to make her boyfriend understand." We all know those are the greatest lyrics of all time.
It doesn't get any better than
So we would only be talking about what's the second greatest lyrics of all time. But I think it would be fun to do that. And I I want to do a video with you and Cody specifically talking about, because we all know that lyrics are not, for all 3 of us, lyrics are not the thing for us. And so I think it would be super, super interesting for us to each bring like an artist or something to the table that we really do love their vocals and try to talk about why. I think that'd be super interesting video.
I would love that. Absolutely. I can think of at least 3 bands. That
Yeah, I could absolutely do that with I can think of two or 3 off the top of my head for sure. But anyway, if that sounds interesting to anybody, let us know in a comment and come subscribe. I can't even say the word subscribe without like feeling like a subscribe, please subscribe.
Snake chest.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, subscribe, go check out our Discord. Come talk to us there. Let us know if that sounds like something fun. All right, on to track 9, Idols. In 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Walk around with your God-given right to shun. Only time will tell the lies you've spun. And when we feel so trapped in, live a little and get some perspective. Spin the car, crash the dream, not as pretty as it's seen in the moment. Feel the rush.
Love that.
Bloodstream running out of me, so I'm really not.
Have you changed your view on clapping in songs then?
I don't dislike clapping.
Yes, you do.
Do I? I don't think I've ever said that. This could be their old record label pressuring them, is what this song could be about. We won't be your vessel, you know? We're not going to be your idols. You can't make us into Korean pop stars, no matter how hard you try.
Unfortunately.
Britpop Demon Hunters.
Have you seen that?
K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
I've heard it's very good.
Oh
yeah.
my god, it's phenomenal. It's like sick. The ending's a little rushed, but the music is phenomenal. I love that they're keeping it going. Like the harsh vocals are bah, 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 and then the singing is
Yes.
bah, 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 like really cool.
In this moment?
Yes. Great call. Ooh.
What a bridge.
Oh. Yes, thank you for doing this. Cut it out. Just yes. Oh, yes. Gee, I tell you. Sorry, I was listening. I did a reaction to an album the other day where never once did they do the like going into the last chorus and have everything stop and just do it and then come in bigger.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. That's like songwriting 101. Come on. Good job as everything unfolds. You know how to do a song. Sometimes exactly the way I want it. Awesome.
Neat. That was great.
That might be one of my top 2 or 3 favorite songs on the album. Easy.
Yeah.
I
huge.
really liked that one a lot.
Does that count as like their full-on super heavy song for you?
No. To be a full-on heavy song, there would be mostly harsh vocals.
Yeah.
If not
And I doubt
only
we'll get
harsh
that.
vocals. Well, I thought we would, but now I don't. And that's fine. Like again, I said at the beginning of the album, I thought we were going to get way less harsh. Oh shoot, I stopped at 4 tallies for songs, so I don't even know.
I don't think we've had one song without them somewhere.
We did. We've had 2 at least. Yeah.
Okay.
That one that we didn't care for, and then the 5th song, Cut the Lies or Break It Away. One of those 2 didn't have any.
Break It Away might have been because Cut the Lies is good. Set and Flow is good.
I think Find Another Way actually. Well, one of them didn't. So whatever. I'm dumb. So we can move on to track 2. I love that song though. By the way, that was great. And that was I think the 2nd or 3rd one that had the like 4 to the floor dancey beat. I'm all here for that. That was great. Love that stuff. All right, on to track 10, Reverie. This is another short one. This is the same length as Cut the Lies. So, Reverie in 3, 2, 1.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy, yeah.
Limerence, not courtesy.
Poppy.
Am I distracted by your reverie? Rose-colored glasses broken into distorted perception through your lens too. I've been feeling blue, feeling your pain too, but there's comfort in the loneliness.
I love that.
I've been feeling
Don't have any guitars in this song. Just bring in make it crystalline, right? Just do that. Oh, I forgot there were guitars already, but yeah, this is great though. The guitars are not important in this.
but I feel so much clarity in your embrace. Why won't you stay?
There better not be any harsh vocals on this one.
I'll find a way.
But I feel so much clarity in your embrace. Why won't you stay? Limerence destined to be your love and your reverie.
Man, when it's so sparse, you can do such cool stuff with effects.
Yes.
You know, you just can't do effect stuff when the song is busy and big. You just can't do it.
Yep.
I've been feeling blue, feeling your pain too, but there's comfort in the loneliness. When the lights are blurry, no wonder we can't see the way. But I feel so much clarity in your embrace. Why won't you stay?
Okay. Third chorus. You know, no bridge, but that's fine. The verses were pretty long. And it's a short song, so. Awesome. All right, we'll pause.
Yeah.
Because then now we're on to the final two tracks, which I think maybe we should listen to back to back, but we can see what the final one is. But that was nice. Not my favorite song on the album, even though I enjoyed the more of like electronic elements of that.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. I think I would enjoy it maybe more listening to it in subsequent listens, like just listening to it in the car or whatever. When that song comes on, I'd be like bopping along with it. But hyper focusing on it, I think it was a little boring.
We got to a point and you were like, oh, it's okay. So there's a third chorus. And I looked and it was still 20 seconds left of a song that was under 3 minutes. And so it was like, oh.
Yeah.
And it just, I feel like that's kind of its own, like, oh, this is oddly long for such a short one.
Yeah, it's that one was a little lacking something special, which is kind of a bummer. I think the honestly, that would have been way cooler without any guitars in it, in my opinion. Like I said at the beginning, like I forgot that guitar's riff was there kind of at the beginning, and then when the cool verse came in, I was like, well, this is awesome. And then I kind of wished it would have just went to like synth bass or something instead. I think that would have been a better showcase for that song. So. Okay, these are the final two songs, which are the ones that they had mentioned in that article are like the closure songs, the like about the event and everything. So I say we listen to these together, but we'll just kind of see what happens.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. This is Edge of Forever in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So this is penultimate song vibes, and then will the final song have final song vibes? I've been noticing, Chris, we talk about final song vibes a lot here. There's now a new thing, penultimate song vibes.
Oh.
Penultimate song
taking dives into the unknown.
We'll talk about it some other time.
Moments sultry in your tone, so familiar in your haunting ways. Won't let it in, won't let it go. Stuck between the revolving road. Life in color, but equally in monochrome. Let's take it back to the start. Strangers and sliding doors on the edge of forever. Jumping from bridges we part. Strangers and sliding doors drawn together. Moments of
Acoustic guitar.
consequence, disarray at nature's expense. Butterflies in disguise, forced to live short terms of lives. Sorted in
She's singing in a lower register here.
ways, finding warmth in words and phrase. Always living in the shadow of hindsight. Let's take it back to the start.
Always living in the shadow of hindsight. That's a good line. Jumping from bridges we part. Strangers and sliding doors drawn together. Strangers in sliding doors drawn together. Let's continue going.
Okay.
Settling paralysis, crying out my
Different stratosphere of production.
in my head.
Auto-tune.
You appear more real in my dread. Can't escape
This sounds the same as
can't stop replaying
track 8, What You Wanted, production-wise, with the guest vocalist.
for the end to
Louder,
come.
clear.
Always waiting for the warmth of the setting sun. Pull ourselves together in this hell we'll live forever. We'll be the ones to see it undone. Cycle through the feelings.
Wow.
Know that it won't help the healing. Take myself through the motions. The endless conflicts of emotions.
Big.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen to that synth.
Yes. And they're keeping the dun, 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 going from the beginning of the song.
Always waiting for the end to come. Always waiting for the warmth of the setting sun. I run,
That definitely had final song vibes.
It did. It did. I enjoyed that. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I've got to just say that living under the, no. Oh shoot. I'm getting mixed up. In the shadow of hindsight.
Hindsight. Yeah.
What a great line that is. It's scary. Just even thinking of that is scary.
Effective.
Yes, very evocative and effective for sure. Okay, so those two did feel like, I mean, I wouldn't say they necessarily felt different, but they definitely felt more poignant for sure. The rest of the album was kind of, I mean, there were fun parts and things there, and then every now and then in a fun song there would be something we heard that was like, oh man, that's kind of serious. But those last two were definitely just like serious the whole time.
Yeah.
Good way to end the album, I thought. I liked them both. The vastness in the difference of quality between track 11 and 12, very interesting.
Crazy how big 11 was. In that way.
12. Crazy how big 12 was. Yeah.
Okay.
11 was the one with
huge,
the acoustic guitar. Yeah. And I almost wonder if maybe that was something that they decided to add at the, like they were mostly done with the album and decided to add that one, or they just were like, let's do this one, a song like this too, or something like that. And then they went into a different studio or like at a different time when they didn't record, because there was a bit of inconsistency on the album. I mean, for sure, track 6, Break It Away, is like the worst sounding thing on the album. And it's really weird that was on there. Almost like that was like a demo or something from before they got to this or something, and they just threw it on there. I'm happy that it is there, but it's clearly the lowest quality thing on the album. And then Edge of Forever felt like it was also coming from kind of a different place production wise. It was doing something very different,
It's interesting because they had 16 songs written for this album at the end of 2024. And so they clearly left a couple out, and it's interesting that Break It Away is one of the ones that stayed, like, based on that.
Yeah, that is kind of a bummer, but who knows? Like I said, that's usually when on an album that is mostly consistent, when there's a few moments of inconsistency, that's when I always go back to I think this was recorded at a different time at a different studio. Yeah. Whether it was before or after the fact, there's some message or something in there that they really wanted and felt was important to be on the album. I'm sure that's the case with track 11, but like, usually when there's a little bit of a disparate feeling on an album like that, it's because they did something different at a different place or at a different time, is what the way it usually ends up being. So how do you feel about this album overall then?
I'm really happy with it. I definitely agree that it's probably going to end up on the top 12 unless a bunch of other albums that I love come out. But I'm into it for sure. It sounds great. And that Cut the Lies is like clear peak #1 song for me.
Okay.
And I don't really there's a couple of songs that I don't know if I can expect them to grow on me over time, but I mean, just maybe two or three.
Yeah. See, I think that'll be the case with this album for me, that this whole album will grow on me a little bit more. Because honestly, if you ask me if I like this album more than their previous one, that's really tough for me to say. I think I do. The songs that we were really like, man, these are so cool, the set and flow and the cut and ties. I think those songs will probably frustrate me a little bit more because they're too short. And man, does a song that feels too short really annoy the crap out of me. but listening to it in context without stopping between the songs, maybe it won't bother me as much. And they do have really great songs on their previous album that are like sub 3 minutes that are fantastic, and I do love those. So I think I'll grow to like this album a little bit more, and I think that I'll enjoy the fun, faster parts, like the four to the floor electronic stuff, because they didn't have any of that on their previous album at all. So I'm happy that that's here. I mean, there was funner stuff on their previous album, and I haven't heard anything from their first album. This is their third album, and I haven't heard anything from their first album at all. So I need to give that a listen. But overall, I'm very happy with this. I think that it's for the turmoil that they went through and changing record labels and having, having such an unsure period of time that I'm sure they went through. I think that it's really great that this album sounds as good as it does, and I can really excuse the inconsistency from track to track, and that happens on a lot of albums anyway, whether there's turmoil or not. It's just a thing that happens sometimes, and I'd rather it be inconsistent in that some of the songs sounded better than consistently mediocre. You know?
Oh yeah.
So I'm happy with that. So I like it. I like the album. I think her vocals were great. I think there was a little bit less really catchy stuff on this one. I think
I can see that. I haven't listened to that previous one, but there isn't anything that's like, I can't get out of my head after a first run through.
Right. Whereas I do think that their previous album had a lot of like really catchy parts, vocally at least, a lot of really catchy vocal parts that you could sing with after the fact. You could sing along with. And whereas this one, there was more like big, more grandiose singing where they're just holding parts out and there's parts overlapping, which you can't sing overlapping parts, you know what I mean, live. And as a person listening to this song singing in your car, you can't sing overlapping parts either. That was what Linkin Park discovered with their first album. Every damn song on that album fades from one Chester doing a vocal thing here overlapping with another vocal thing, and then guess what, they never did it again in their career because it was such a huge headache for them to tour to perform that way. And so that kind of stuff is, I feel like this album has more weight to it for sure, and I think I would have felt that even if we didn't know the story of it. For me, it just feels like it has a little bit more weight. It's a little bit more mature and serious, even though there were like the 3 or 4 songs on there that felt like really fun bops. So, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. And I would say that as of right now, I have my top 4 albums I have 4 albums in place that are, I don't think, going to be matched, with the exception of when Raunchy's album comes out later this year. Because when that comes out, and shoot now, Evanescence, this is like the greatest year ever for me.
I love how many years you've said that.
I know, but like this year, I think there's at least 3 bands that have not released an album for at least a decade that have albums coming out this year. And they're like some of my favorite bands ever. And one of them already came out. I did a reaction to it earlier in the week, and it is my number 1 album of the year currently. And so the only thing that could defame that, I think, or not whatever, and then Poppy's album, I keep forgetting about Poppy. Like Poppy's just fantastic. So it's like,
have you heard the new Muse song yet?
No, I've been avoiding it on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I was talking to someone on our Discord, and they were like, you haven't even heard the new song yet? And I was like, no, because I mentioned that their previous album is like one of the highest quality albums I've ever heard production wise. And they were like, wait, you haven't heard the new one yet? And I was like, no. And they were like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what you think. And so
I won't comment on that, but because they're doing a new album, they're doing a new tour, and I will repeatedly tell anybody that a Muse concert has become one of the 7 wonders of the world at this point.
Sure.
There is nothing larger and more incredible than a Muse concert. And I saw they were going to be in town, but they're doing the White River Amphitheater, which is outdoors. And I was like, really? What? And then I noticed that their entire tour is only outdoor venues.
Oh, interesting.
And so I was like, oh. That's an
Okay.
interesting thing. They're doing that on purpose, certainly.
Yeah.
So now I have some incredibly expensive Muse tickets, and so I'm pumped.
Dude, I'm excited for that. When is that show? Do you know?
That'll be August 23rd?
Okay. Do we have a date set for their album?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, you can check that out. Yeah, I'm really excited for that because their last album was phenomenal. It was like disgustingly so good.
June 26th.
Oh, shoot. When's the new Evanescence? Now I got to look that up. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. If this is your first time hearing this band and discovering them along with Chris, let us know how you feel about them. And if you have recommendations for us for other bands to check out, leave those in the comments as well. And I highly recommend going back and listening to their album Ultraviolet as well, because I think it's really good. It definitely feels more amateuristic than this and a little bit more simple. I personally like that, and I love the way they treated the vocals on that album. There was a lot more layering of vocals on this album. And I like the way that they did it, and I think they did it really great. But there's something that's really cool to me about the simplicity of their previous album, so I recommend checking that one out as well. So thank you everybody for watching. Check everything out in the Discord, and we will, or in the Discord and in the description of the video. Check all that stuff out too. We will see you all next time.